Hello, welcome to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whisky blog. I'm Andy and this is whisky review number 48. It's also the third part of our Speyside collection mini-series. So we're halfway through the 6 drams already. That's flown. So what we've got for you today, as I say, is the third sample in the G&M Macphail Speyside collection mini-series, and that comes in the form of this very fetching, again in the frame, 1954 Mortlach. Now, given it's a Speyside collection, as you can probably deduce, long words, it's not a long word really, but you know, sounds posh. It's Speyside distillery. It's owned by Diageo. Current output, I believe, is around 4 million litres a year, but they are in the process of expanding the distillery to double capacity to 8 million litres a year. That's a lot of whisky. Now that's out of the way, I can pour the dram. Oh, lovely colour on that already. Okay. So, 1954. It's old. I mean, when I say old, this particular bottling is 58 years old. Oh my god. Right, okay. In fact, right, that reminds me, before I go any further, these samples were provided to me by G&M Macphail. So firstly, thank you very much to the guys at G&M Macphail for providing me with the samples to review. Really do appreciate it. However, on the flip side of that, being provided with the samples does not mean that I'm going to give this a positive review. Like I've said before in previous reviews, if it's naff, it's naff, and I'll tell you. If it's good, I'll tell you. So, back to business. 58 years old. Distilled on the 27th of January 1954, so not too far away from when this review was recorded actually. Bottled on the 20th of November 2012, so it has been around for over 4 years now. 347 bottles, came from cask 494 and was a first fill sherry, but look at that colour. Look at that. Really nice sort of You didn't see that. Really nice sort of coppery brown, memories of cola colour. Key moments in history, 1954. Britain sponsors an expedition to search for the abominable snowman. As you can probably guess, it's 2017, they've still not found him. Roger Bannister breaks the 4-minute mile. Sorry, Roger, don't know what that means. Elvis Presley begins his music career. Rationing ends in Great Britain after the Second World War, and the Boeing 707 takes its maiden flight. So a lot happened. Sorry, Roger, I don't know what that means by breaking the 4-minute mile. Maybe running, I don't know. Sorry if I seem really uncultured. Really nice legs on the glass there. The colour really is nice. I know I said memories of cola because I do those stupid colour notes, don't I? But really, really nice colour in there. 43% this has been bottled at. Same as all the other bottlings in the range. Natural colour, I am assuming. I cannot find anything that says otherwise. Again, I will update the YouTube with a comment underneath the video once it's been posted to say otherwise. Now, onto the nose. Oh wow. Akin to the previous 2 drams in the Linkwood and the Longmorn, very sweet initially. Honey, quite soft at first though. Blackcurrant jam on toast. Really blackcurrant-ish sort of flavours in there. And what that does is it then sort of takes a turn down savoury lane, because Mortlach actually has a bit of a reputation for having quite a meaty quality, and this dram is no exception. There's a kind of a ham on Iberico note, Iberico ham from Spain, where the pigs are basically fed acorns, or they find acorns in the woods and that, and it gives the meat sort of a nice sort of nutty flavour, and it's still a little bit salty and really savoury. Welcome to Meatbox. That's that's coming up. That's an idea. I'm putting that one on the pad. Andy reviews 2 sirloins. Again with the sort of like fruity note there, but I'm getting a lot of coffee now, sort of like a really strong espresso. Sort of like a treacle tart flavour in there. I can't quite describe to you the nice chunky meat quality to it right in the middle of this sort of really sweet, lovely, it's like a meat pocket right in the middle of it. Just gives it a little bit of oomph. It's really nice, really, really nice. Oh, again, I've mentioned this in the last review, just to reiterate, I've not read any of the official tasting notes, and again I do advise you to do the same. When you pick up a whisky, don't look for the official notes, because 9 times out of 10 they'll be completely different to what you get, because everybody's nose and palate is different. Don't go off the marketing blurb. It's kind of a cherry tobacco in there. I think I mentioned in one of the last reviews I did used to smoke, and I used to smoke roll-up cigarettes. Occasionally I did buy cherry tobacco, and it really does sort of remind me of that. And at the same time, yes, there are sort of stereotypical Speyside Christmas cakey notes in there as well, but I think the variety of the initial flavours and that meatiness in there really does sort of give it another dimension. Really, I mean, I've got to say already, I'm really impressed with it. I think I don't know why I'm staring at my microphone while I'm thinking. The microphone's down there, by the way. Somebody did comment a few months back that the sound was a little bit hissy on my old camera, so I bought a separate microphone to use with the SLR, so hopefully that's improved things. There's an ever so slight sulphur note in there, and it's a bit of a thing at the minute, sulphur, because Jim Murray, the whiskey writer, he's got a bit of a crusade on sulphur. Some people can notice it a lot more than others. Unfortunately, particularly I do find sulphur in quite a lot of drams. Other friends that I know that drink whiskey aren't quite as susceptible to it. That doesn't mean their nose is any worse than mine. I mean, mine's probably crap in comparison. But as I sort of mentioned before, everybody's nose and everybody's palate's different. Normally, sulphur is a very big turn off for me with whiskey. However, in this one, it's only a tiny, tiny little amount, and I do think it adds a little bit to it. It's not overpowering, it's not dominating everything, it's just throwing another little dart at the dartboard. It's just putting its little sort of place in there, and it's all just sort of getting carried away in the tide of other flavours. Really interesting. Right, let's try it on the palate, shall we? Oh, that's sweet. That is tooth-achingly sweet. Oh god, I can feel my dentist try to ring me. He's somewhere like, oh. In fact, he's probably rubbing his hands, isn't he? Really sweet. And then, nope, still sweet. There's a little bit of the savouriness in there, but going back to that blackcurrant that I mentioned on the nose, I am getting like that blackcurrant flavour. If you live in the north of England, particularly because the southerners drink Ribena, Vimto all the way, which is like a sort of like blackcurranty, great raspberry-based cordial thing. Coffee again, toffee, not to be confused with one another. There's sort of like a sweet fruit crumble in there as well. Not a light fruit such as apple or pear. It's sort of like a rich, stodgy fruit, so think like a plum crumble with custards, because there is a little bit of vanilla flitting around. Oh, going back to the nose after that initial dram, tasting it, oh wow. Getting a little bit of cumin in there now. That's interesting. I do recommend that you do that. After you've had your first taste, go back to the nose. And it's one of those things where you either pick out more, or it just reaffirms that everything you've already got is pretty much there. So sometimes tasting it can add another bit of a tilt to it. And do you know what? That sulphur is there on the palate as well. But again, it isn't overpowering, it just adds its own little chord to the song, shall we say. Nutty, sweet, toffee-ish, banoffee, raisins, brandy. Really, it's going to sound weird because comparing spirits is very strange. I know I mentioned brandy, but there's almost like a bit of a very dark rum profile to it towards the end, going into the finish, like Barbadian rum, Bayesian rum, you could say, sorry, Barbadian, Bayesian. The finish, long, sweet, still going, and again the black currant is there. It's back with a vengeance, which is a bit of a sort of recurring theme. Overall, without water, because I'm going to try it with water in a minute, very, very interesting. Very interesting. I am going to flit in the screen a minute because I'm going to actually pause this and start the video again because unfortunately I only get a little bit of time to record on this camera. So I'm not going to touch it, not going to change anything, then I'm going to add a bit of water and take it from there. And I'm back. Right, yes, that's right. I have lost a few videos, unfortunately, doing that, where I've gone on and on and on and on and on, and then it's just conked out because I've used all my time up. So, put a little bit of water in there. Again, how much have we got left there? Yeah, I think we can get away with about half a teaspoon, if we can actually manage to get half. Oh, got it in one. There we go. There we go. Swirl that around a bit. So, Mortlach. It is quite an interesting distillery. It was, I'm not going to say it was a cult distillery as such, but it generally flew under the radar because there weren't really many official releases. There was a Flora and Fauna 16-year-old release a few years back, and it was very heavily sherried and it was very popular when it was out. And basically Diageo recently, as part, I did mention the distillery expansion. As part of this, they've basically relaunched it as an official bottling. So rather than indie bottlings and that, they are relaunching it. They have relaunched it as a brand. And what they've done is they've put them into 50 centilitre bottles, very fancy square bottles with fancy tops and lots of glass at the bottom and etchings and all that. And somewhat unsurprisingly, they've done no age statements, and for what they are, I'm not going to lie, they are quite expensive. And if I'm honest, I was quite underwhelmed by the ones that I've tried. However, you can still find very good indie bottlings of Mortlach that actually sort of show the more honest side of the spirit, you could say. It's, there are some interesting things going on there at the minute. Doubling capacity, that's a statement of intent. So you are going to see a lot more Mortlach on the market. Don't get me wrong, it is an investment because you've got to sit on it for at least 3 years before you can release it, and hopefully they will release it older than 3 years, so they're not going to plough through their older stock and the mid-age stock and all that kind of stuff and then suddenly pump through a load of 3-year-old Mortlach. But as I say, it is a bit of a statement of intent that they are doubling capacity there. So in terms of price, because I've not mentioned that yet, again, to go over the entire Speyside collection, that's 10.5 grand for the 6 whiskies. It's a lot of money. I've mentioned before, it's a deposit on a house, it's a car, it's a lot of money to a lot of people. It's not really aimed at you or me. I kind of see the guys that watch this as sort of in a similar position to myself. It's like, no one will, normal job, 9 to 5 or something like that, occasional weekend here and there, you're not getting paid 300 grand a year or something. I'm certainly not. Or else, no offence guys, but I wouldn't be here. I'd be somewhere under the sun. So it's not aimed at you and me. It's aimed at people with a lot more disposable income, I'd say. Investors, whisky investors. The Chinese market is particularly profitable at the moment for a lot of distilleries and brands, and the Asian market in general. So unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be too many opportunities for a lot of, I know I keep saying normal, people and that, but people such as myself to try it, which it really is a privilege that G&M have actually sent these to try, because I think otherwise I wouldn't have been able to. So the cost for this particular bottle on its own outside of the collection is around £1,100, so about £1,000, £1,100 around that mark. I have seen it on the Dufftown whisky shop site for around £9.95, but it was out of stock, and I think it'd been out of stock for a while. So I think it has gone up since then. But if you can find it for that price, then fair enough. The legs on this with the water, relatively the same. On the nose, right, okay. I think what I'm getting now is a lot more of that coffee, and the sort of like heavier toffee that I mentioned previously is a lot more at the forefront. So digestive biscuits in there, and then a very, 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 very flitting glimpse of some smoke. Now, I'm not saying that it's really standout, it does just play its part. It's not at the front, it's not at the back, it's just there. Parma Violet Sweets. Parma Violet Sweets. I thought I'd got it on the nose without water, but with water, I'm sure. Never in doubt like. But it's still there. So Parma Violet Sweets. There are a few distilleries, Bowmore and Auchentoshan, so Morrison Bowmore distilleries, where you might find bottlings from the early 90s or late 80s. Or that were distilled around that time, should I say, where it has, or they have, a quite unattractive, overpowering note of something akin to Parma Violet Sweets, which is given a bit of an abbreviation in the whisky community as FWP. And you might see that in a couple of reviews of older bottlings of Bowmore and Auchentoshan. And what FWP stands for, and I do apologise because it's probably not quite the watershed yet, it's not 9 o'clock at night, I will be posting this first thing in the morning. It stands for French Horse Perfume, and that is because it was overly perfumed, it was incredibly acidic and acrid, very sweet. It basically just smelled like, if you go through Boots, and you walk through, or any shop really, Selfridges, Harvey Nicks, wherever, and you're walking through, and all you want to do, you just get some shampoo or some body, shower gel, and you've got to go through this myriad, this assault course of people stood there with bottles of perfume and aftershave, and they're like, "Do you want to try some?" So you're like, "No, go away," and it's like, it's like that. But in this, again, akin to the smoke, it just plays its part. It's not overpowering. It doesn't stand out like it does in those old Bowmores, and Auchentoshan, which is probably a good thing, because to be honest with you, I've tried some that are like that and they are disgusting. Again with the toffee, There was a little bit of a sour note there just lifting it up to my nose. I'm not too sure what that is, but it was a little bit sour and a little bit prickly. On the palate now, Parma Violet Sweets again. More coffee, dark chocolate, very, very high concentrated dark chocolate. Again, that little bit of sulphur. Slight, what would I describe that as? Probably like pastry, like Danish pastries. Sort of like a nutty, toffee glazed pastry. The finish is sweet. It's very well rounded. It's not bitter. It's not hot. It's just really pleasant. It is really pleasant. Something that has been taken out from this by the water is that meaty note. I'm not really getting that so much now. Although now I mention it, I am on the nose. Sod's law, that, isn't it? But this is more of a sort of beefy, steaky kind of note. And there's also a waxy sort of profile to the nose as well, which you tend to find with Clynelish. And I think I mentioned that when I did the Clynelish review. It's quite well known for its waxy, beeswax, lemony character. And you do get that sort of waxiness on this. Water isn't really taking much away from this. It's not adding a lot either, but it's not doing it any harm. Something that I got on the nose just as I was bringing it up to my mouth then, and I made that weird noise. Soy sauce, like dark soy sauce. I'm also getting a little bit citrus. That black currant's back, and the black currant is still with me on the finish now. What an enjoyable whiskey that is. You know, sometimes where you just find the right dram for the right time, for the right mood. That is exactly it. That is phenomenal. Genuinely, that is probably one of the best whiskies that I've actually tried. And I mean that. And I'm really glad that I got to share it with you guys. That is phenomenal. Oh. Yes, Gordon Macphail. Yes. More of the same, please. I just want to enjoy that. Right, okay. Scores. I am going to give this 1954 Mortlach 94 out of 100. Really good. Really is fantastic. Fantastic piece of history. Fantastic whiskey. Fantastic experience. So, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you soon.